I'm striking while the iron's hot. So episode 1 recorded, as you can see from the visuals behind me and the fact that I'm wearing the same shirt, I'm straight away into episode number 2. I believe that Seth Godin is probably one of the great thinkers of our digital age, or perhaps one of the great thinkers about our digital age, certainly when it comes to marketing ideas and that sort of thing. He has been releasing a newsletter, sort of a thought for the day, as it were. And he's been doing this for, I'd like to say decades, but it's certainly many, many years, thousands of them, which I receive, it's free, and often full of interesting insights. Today, for example, he was talking about one of the problems of our age, the fact that we have become addicted to, I suppose we search for relentlessly convenience and avoid boredom. And that's a bit of a problem. Now, before I go any further, don't get me wrong, I'm all for convenience where it serves a purpose and it's a little bit more efficient and pleasant. Why not? Indoor plumbing, wonderful. The outhouse, not so much. So this isn't railing against everything that has made our lives enjoyable and good. No. But I do think he has a point. We have become ever more determined to avoid inconvenience and seek stimulation. And the digital sort of era has accelerated this process. What do I mean? Where's the problem? Well, think of convenience food, fast food delivery. My YouTube advertising plagues me with a Brazilian company called iFood. What's wrong with a little bit of good old-fashioned home cooking? What's wrong with that? Again, though, I'm not going to try and suggest that takeaway pizza and beer on a Friday night after a hard week's work is a bad thing. Pizza and beer is not the same as hookers and heroin. It's not an enormous problem that we face. But equally, if it's something that we start to enjoy too much, and then it creeps into our life, and eventually becomes a routine, a habit, well, I think that is a problem. And I guess that's what Seth Godin might have been alluding to. Once upon a time, these little treats, and I remember before he passed away, my father saying, but what's wrong with a little bit of pleasure? We all need it. And of course we do. What is wrong with a little bit of pleasure? But once upon a time, that little bit of pleasure was, I guess, stimulated by rituals or special occasions. The lad's night, playing poker. Well, what was wrong with that? Nothing really. It was a sort of a fraternity. And what's wrong with once in a while deciding that you just don't feel like cooking, so you get some takeaway fish and chips? It's a wonderful thing. But that's not what he's talking about. What he's talking about is the fact that we have become part, I don't want to suggest it's a conscious conspiracy, but we've become part of a bigger picture kind of thing. And that's where the problem lies. That we do these dreadful jobs, and the way it becomes tolerable is by, reaching for something to numb the mind. And again, I say we do these dreadful jobs. That is the sort of boredom that we should be avoiding. And again, that's not the sort of boredom that Seth Godin in his quick daily email was, I think, thinking about. He was not talking about the boredom that is generated by a mind-numbing, bullshit, unnecessary cubicle life. He was talking about the boredom that goes with, everyday living, and the boredom that goes with any worthwhile task. You do some home cooking, you're going to get some dishes to wash. And avoiding that by ordering a takeaway meal or buying a pre-prepared frozen dinner, and then the washing up is largely eliminated because most of what you've used just gets thrown away. Now that is a problem. So a little less convenience lifestyle, a little bit more inconvenience, and dealing with the boredom that might involve. Perhaps the antidote to a lot of the problems that we have lies in embracing the boredom and kind of doubling down on some of the inconvenience, because there's no getting away from that if we're going to lead meaningful lives. Anyway, that's it. Episode 2. It's probably time to get back to a little bit of the more boring sort of work that my sculpture entails.